I'm Nathan Masters with Brick System Brothers. I built my first Lowell Sphere yesterday, and I think it's worth a closer look, so let's check it out. So I've seen this guy on and off for a couple years, and I came across the instructions last night and decided to throw one together and see what I thought of it. And it's really elegant. I was pleasantly surprised just how nicely it came together when you put all of the panels together. So again, this is called a Lowell Sphere or Lowell Sphere, depending on how you say it. On his Beyond the Brick interview, he says it Lowell kind of faster, so I'll try to stick to that. But yeah, so let's just kind of narrow in on the design. Cubic symmetry extended to a spherical shape, just using some kind of basic plates and bricks. So if I pop one of these sides open real quick, comes off pretty nicely. We'll take a look here, and what we have is some 1x4 plates, 2x2 corners, just your standard 2x2, and finally some 1x2 jumpers coming together. And these basically form the 6 sides of a cube, which then by this extension forms a more spherical shape. Then we've got some of these, I think they're called Travis bricks, holding it all together. Just 4-sided, studs not on top, snot bricks. And you don't even have to use these 1x1s. You can use various different ones as long as they're flush with the edge of the stud there. So you can't use the headlight bricks for this one. Got to use different type, but again, a couple of options for you to use those. It is kind of higher in terms of using the same kind of part, and that really comes from just repeating each of these faces 6 times. So with these corner plates and jumper plates, you need 24 each of these in the same color if you're going to build a sphere of one color. Otherwise, if you don't really care about the color, you still need 24, but don't have to worry about matching that up. So the most interesting part to me from this build is the way that these jumpers interact. And I did watch a couple other videos. A couple of people have built these, instead of using these jumpers, they just put a 4x4 plate down here. And that works, but I think that does detract from the elegance of this build and what the original designer intended. Bruce Lowell invented this in 2002, or a little before, but that's kind of when it made its debut at a brick convention and on the internet. So it's been around for a little while, and he has used it in a lot of his creations. He had some at the Masterpiece Gallery at the Lego house not too long ago, so you can look that up if you want. But I really like the sphere just for what it is, not necessarily trying to build something to incorporate it, but just to appreciate what Lego can do on its own when given the chance. But yeah, back to these jumpers. So we've got these on opposite sides of our square face, and then when we put this all together, the way the geometry works out is you're kind of gonna alternate these. So on one side you have these going up and down, and then the panel right next to it, they go side to side. And what that does is it effectively creates this more rounded, as you come around the corner here, a really pixelated effect of a sphere, but I think it does really help fill in those corners. And then when you get to the top or the bottom, or the side, depending on how it's oriented, it forms this nice, really good way to put that in, and kind of brings it all together. So this is a really sturdy build, just the way that each panel is kind of holding itself and the ones next to it in place. And the symmetry of it is really nice, just visually fun to look at and roll around. And you can put stuff inside of this, and a couple of MOCs that I've seen. I know Bruce built the Wienermobile. I'll throw up a picture of that. And that uses this general shape, and then he has kind of offset that to make the rest of it. And the other one that I saw while I was browsing was a pool, kind of like the pool triangle. I think Bruce built that one as well. Have to double check. But so you can work these into different builds. But again, I think especially with the utilization of these jumpers, just how that all comes together and forms this really nice approximation for a sphere. And unless you count the actual spherical pieces that Lego produces, like the GBC soccer balls or basketballs, or the planet hemispheres for the the Star Wars line that they had with those. Just based on studs and plates and other pieces, this is a really great approximation for a sphere, just based on your 90-degree pieces. So yeah, that is the Lowell Sphere, and maybe pick up some jumpers and some corner plates and go build one of these things. They're pretty cool. All right, see you guys.